Hello, everyone. I'm Pastor Dave. See, there's my official certificate. I am not an official pastor in the sense that I am a pastor of a religion. I'm a faith pastor. I make the distinction between religion and faith. But most people who are religious do not. They think it's all the same, but it is not. Religion, for one, is controlled. There's heavy organization at the top, and they dictate what has to be done and what believers must believe. Faith, however, is very individualized because it's a personal relationship that you have in spirit. Religion is dogmatic, meaning it is ruled by creed, ruled by doctrine. Whereas faith is your own creation. It's really what you can personally create between your soul and the divine field around you. Religion, on the other hand, is highly ritualized. You go through a series of rituals for the purposes of reaffirming or initially affirming your belief in the religion. Whereas the faith is very personalized. You do not have to create any kind of loyalty to a religious doctrine. This is just your ability. It's recommended that you try to follow some teachings that might suggest how you go about making the connection between the soul and the divine field around you. But otherwise, it's very personal. You're the one, you know yourself best, and you're the one that's going to know when you're experiencing that moment of spirit. Religion is scripted. If you go to a service, you're told what to say, what prayers to say, what songs to sing. It's all scripted for you. You're just an actor following the cues that are provided by the service leaders. Whereas in faith, you can walk with free expression. This is where your opportunity to express yourself in the way you need to express yourself is best suited for you because it's for you. You're the one that makes the connection between yourself and the divine. And you can express it any way you want through medium, maybe like painting or song or even woodcraft, something that you can feel is an expression of that spiritual connection that you make. The last thing about religion is its reliance on blind obedience, where in order for the believers to embrace what their religion offers, they really do not have to think about it. They just can learn to be obedient to what is being said. There's very little questioning about the religion. Because if you started to question that religion, then you would probably no longer be a believer. So that's why it is blind obedience to that religion. You're certainly allowed to explore, but if you start to explore, you're no longer a follower of that religion. Whereas in faith, you are the one that is developing that spiritual connection which will require, well, not just require, but it will actually help you discern what is truth. With religion, you don't have that freedom to explore. I mean, they might say they encourage it, but ultimately, That's not why one is a believer. One is a believer because you get to follow the script. You get to swear your allegiance. You get to repeat the dogma, repeat the creed, reaffirming your devotion to that religion. That's why you go to service every week, so that you can reaffirm that commitment. And that is really an intellectual experience. You really are just following, doing is sort of a behavioral modification where you do the behavior in order to solidify your devotion to that faith. Whereas when you operate in faith, real faith, not religion, but when you devote that real faith, that personalized faith, that's where you begin to discern. You begin to use the power of the spiritual field around you in that connection to your soul to discern what is right, what is not right. It's not a rejection of science because your religion says that evolution is a lie. No, that is not discernment. That's just blind obedience. Discernment tells you that why would scientists all over the world constantly challenge each other to make sure what is understood about natural law is understood, and that evolution is scientific fact, and that you can discern the truth of that fact not only on the merits of the science, but also on the experience, on the reflection, on the connection you have to the divine, and you'll feel the truth of it, as opposed to mouthing the words of truth that your religion has told you to say. Another example is like climate change. Climate change you can sense because there's a logical sequence. There's something that you can discern to be true, not only because the science is solid, not only because you can see evidence of pollution, of destruction of creation of God around you, but you can feel and experience the spiritual disruption caused by an industrializing world. We know we can do better, and you can feel the necessity of you to take some kind of steps to embrace the idea that global warming is real. You're not being blindly obedient to the notion that somehow if we allow government to dictate and put regulations on industrial endeavors, that somehow that's going to be too much government control, and that's going to be